Hi, my name is Laura, and I'm going to show you guys the website that me and my group did. Here we have a short description where should everyone be able to freely public practice their religion in given countries. So upon this question, we try to go and research. So in the homepage, we give out what we found online, and this is expert opinion where we contacted an expert, and here's the solution that we found and we figured out. Let's go into the homepage first. So upon this first question, we gave two maps. The first one is Religion's Freedom Map from 2016. The red one shows the persecution of religion in that country. The orange one shows religious discrimination in that country. But there's also arrows that goes up, which means the persecution or the discrimination goes up. And if the arrow goes down, then the increases of the persecution and discrimination. But if it's a line there, then it means that there's no change in that countries whatsoever. Next, we have a map from 2015, and this one only shows the red, which means very high restrictions, and then the orange one was high, and there's the low one which is like whitish gray, and there's the light orange one with moderate restriction, and those are based on the government standards. And we have a few stats here that shows the same outside of the countries that we did. So 5 sample countries, and we chose from 3 categories. For the persecution category, we chose China, Iraq, North Korea, Libya, Syria. For the discrimination, we chose Iran, Ukraine, Vietnam, Algeria, and Egypt. And for the religion of freedom, we chose Canada, Denmark, Germany, Finland, France. So let's go into the first categories. Countries where religion is being persecuted. For China, any religion that's outside of government control is considered evil cults. They will arrest and detain people to death by the government when caught. And the country of religion where we chose is Falun Gong, and that's the stats here. For Iran, we can see that in 2003, the Christian, there's only 1.4 million gets lower each year, and only 1% left 2 years ago. Most of them either killed by the government and the other violent attacks, and the one that survived has escaped the country. And in North Korea, religious freedom is basically non-existent. People who don't comply with the government are either arrested, imprisoned, tortured, or persecuted by the government. And Christian is the one we chose here, and they are imprisoned the most. In Libya, any religion practices in Libya that conflict with the government are restricted. So basically, the Christians, let's say, for example, that we gave here, are allows only one place of worship per city, and anyone found practicing outside of that place is persecuted. That's really bad. And in Syria, the government so much passed laws, but as much they passed attempt to stop the beheading and punishment the public give to the people. But the government also passed laws that look down most of the religions to state that they cannot convert, and if they do caught, they're stopped. Now where religion is being discriminated against, Iran, the Muslim children cannot change or renounce their faith. So any children born in a family where the parents are Muslim, they're automatically considered as a Muslim. That's really bad, which means that they are not allowed to have any interaction with the people. The non-Muslims, they are not allowed to have any interaction with the Muslims. That's bad. So they are not allowed to interact with anybody else other than the people who are with themselves. But then they're also prevented from serving in anything in the public services, like the jury, security, school, principals. In Ukraine, there's no laws to degrade any certain religions, but then there's so many social discriminations from the public itself, and it remained away until it was brought to light. In Vietnam, the majority is Baha'ist religion. If anyone practices anything other than that, it's not persecution for it, but then the Baha'ist people look down upon the other people who practice the different religion as dirty and unclean. In Algeria, there's a lot of Christians fleeing the country because they're being discriminated against, and also the Jewish are saying the same thing as the Christians. And there's also laws prohibiting non-Muslims from getting higher position offices. In Egypt, there are so many hostile towards non-Muslim and Muslim who deviate from government standards. There's up to zero confirmation number of Christian because that's not Muslim, so government don't keep track of them that much. Now the country's religion is free. As we all know, in Canada, a person's religion freedom is protected under the Charter of Rights, Human Rights and Freedoms, and the Canadian Human Rights Act. And the government only step in if it infringes on other people's rights and discriminates against other people's religion. That means anybody can practice any religion they want, or they don't need to have a religion if they don't want to have a religion. In Denmark, there are so many religions, including Muslims, Roman Catholics, Jehovah's Witnesses, Siberian Orthodox, Jews, Baptists, Baha'ism, Mormons, Pentecostal, and non-denominational Christians. And because it's free, that's why there's so many religions in that country. In Germany, there's even more. There's 2/3 of the country Christian, but the 1/3 left have about 70 or so different kind of religion, which means the Germans highly value religion as they pass the laws to protect the freedom of religions. They say freedom of faith, conscience, freedom to process religions or philosophical creed all shall be inviolable. The individual practice of religion shall be guaranteed. In Finland, the child doesn't need to follow their parents' religion. Once they pass the age of 12, they can change if they need to. And the only thing is they need to have at least 20 members to consider religions. But even then, there's 45 religious schools that the government organizes in Finland. And lastly, France. People in France can practice any religions as long as they don't interfere with others, and they can change and drop their religion anytime they want. However, under some circumstances, the government bans some religious clothing for some sakes. The government in France does not keep a statistic on the different religion affiliation, but we have a poll, so we have stats here how many religions there are. In expert opinion, we contacted this monk, and his name is Panda Destelia. He didn't give us much, but he referred us to a post he wrote in the Huffington Post, and he told us because he didn't want to repeat himself, we can go look him out what he said on the Huffington Post. So the post essentially states what we can do about the problem, but not the reasons. And he's pretty famous. And in the solution, based on what he told us, we came up with a solution, but then it's like many of them having been tried and failed. And the one that we pretty much foolproof is really need a lot of cooperation from everybody in the world. Because the things like we need to have, there's so many gods, but then it's like we need to have only pray and serve to whatever you want. We don't have to think we are right and everyone else is wrong. So it's small-minded to think that only one group religion is the majority and the other group is minority. Because that's what some countries are doing, like China and Iraq. So what we are basically saying is that we need to try to understand other people's faith and religion, and we need to all practice and praise someone who's create religion in one way but not some other way. So long story short, our solutions is hard, but it's also easy. Depends on if everyone's cooperating or not. And if everybody is, then there will be a peace. So in conclusion, we concluded, yes, people should be able to practice their religion openly, and that no, it isn't, because people are practicing opening so much in the country that is the way that people react to see different religions being practiced than theirs. And finally, in the citation, here's all our citations in email format.